In fact, this is the big news that we're now tracking. Mysore Vodeya's property illegally acquired by late Shrikanta Datta Vodeya's acquaintance V.K. Sundar forged documents to acquire 30 crore rupees worth land belonging to the late Vodeyar. V.K. Sundar was an acquaintance of the late Vodeyar. Mysore sub-registrar allegedly involved in the fraud. V.K. Sundar had the land registered in his name on December 7, 2013. V.K. Sundar had the land registered in his name 3 days before Vodeyar passed away. In fact, this is the big news that we're now tracking. Mysore Vodeya's property illegally acquired by late Shrikanta Datta Vodeya's acquaintance V.K. Sundar forged documents to acquire 30 crore rupees worth land belonging to the late Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar. V.K. Sundar was an acquaintance of the late Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar. Now, it is stated that the Mysore sub-registrar allegedly was involved in the fraud. V.K. Sundar had the land registered in his name on December 7, 2013. This was 3 days before Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar passed away. In fact, this is the big news that News9 is now tracking. Mysore Vodeyar's property illegally acquired by late Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar's acquaintance V.K. Sundar. In fact, he forged documents to acquire 30 crore rupees worth land belonging to the late Vodeyar. V.K. Sundar was an acquaintance of the late Vodeyar. It is stated that the sub-registrar Mysore was allegedly involved in the fraud. He had the land registered in his name on December 7, 2013, and this was just about 3 days before the late Vodeyar's death. In fact, it's the big news that we are tracking. Mysore Vodeyar's property illegally acquired by late Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar's acquaintance. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Akshita. Akshita, can you give us more information on this?
Basically, what we're talking about, Nolan, is a 50,000 square feet plot right beside the Mysore racecourse. Now, this particular property is worth about 30 crore rupees. It is an ancestral property of the Vodeyar family, something that, for obvious reasons, late Shrikanta Datta Narasimharaja Vodeyar did inherit. But now it looks like he was cheated of the same, and in fact, by someone who knew him. We understand that V.K. Sundar, who has been accused of this, was an acquaintance of late Shrikanta Datta Vodeyar. So, of course, some strange and damning accusations coming out there. If I have to give you more information on exactly what happened, Nolan, as you rightly mentioned, V.K. Sundar got the land registered in his name on December 7th. We have to keep in mind that's 3 days before Shrikanta Datta Narasimharaja Vodeyar passed away. And now what he claims is that he got this land legally with the permission of Shrikanta Datta Narasimharaja Vodeyar. But the misappropriation in this particular case, all of the wrongdoings have come to light now. It is understood that this is hand in glove with the Mysore East sub-registrar, Nolan. The sub-registrar in that particular area is Girish, and it is understood that V.K. Sundar, along with Girish, went ahead, forged documents to make it seem like the late Kanta Datta Vodeyar had in fact given permission to give this land to V.K. Sundar, and hence acquired the land. Once again, 30 crore worth land there going wasted there, Nolan. But what we understand is that this particular incident came to light after Chandrasekhar, who is an advocate of one of the family members, went out and filed a complaint to the concerned authorities against B.K. Sundar as well as Girish, stating that they had forged documents. They had claimed that Shrikanta Datta Narasimharaja Vodeyar himself had handed over that land. And of course, soon after the case came to light, after the complaint was filed, the local Lokayukta is looking into it. Now, where the lie was caught was, Nolan, when in fact Girish went on to tell the Lokayukta more than anything else that they had gotten the permission of the late Vodiyar Sayan, that late Shrikanta Datta Narasimha Raja Vodiyar had in fact signed the documents 3 days before he passed away, and that is why they have the documents. He refuted all claims of forgery, went on to state that he had in fact gotten the permission from Vodiyar, considering that B.K. Sundar himself knew the late Vodiyar Sayan, Nolan.
Right, now what you see on your television screen is on the right of your television screen is of Mysore East Sub-Registrar Girish, the one who actually played games, and on the left of your television screen you can see the land. Now this land is next to the Mysore racecourse, 50 square feet, 50,000 square feet, I beg your pardon. It's a huge piece of land which today costs anywhere between 30 crore rupees and upwards of that. Now Akshita, coming back to you, considering that this information has come to light, will the government take any steps to cancel the agreement and give the land back to the rightful owners?
Well, Nolan, as of now, the investigations are still on. As I told you, the Lokayukta is investigating this particular case. But coming back to what I was telling you about the fact of how they managed to forge these documents and how they are backing themselves up as of now, they are clearly stating that they got the permission of Shrikanta Datta Narasimha Raja Vodiyar, that he had in fact signed those documents himself. But this was refuted by his wife, Pramoda Devi, who's come out to state quite clearly that the late Vodiyar Sayan was not present on a race course on the stipulated date, which was of course December 7th. That was where their lie was exposed. B.K. Sundar went on to state that the late Kantadatta Vodiyar was present at race course, and that's where he signed the documents, and that lie was exposed by Vodiyar's wife Pramoda Devi. But besides that, this case has been confirmed by the Upa Lokayukta Subhash B. Adi, who has gone on to state that there definitely seems to be something very suspicious about this particular case. The investigations are on. As of now, they have not made any arrests, Nolan. They have not arrested B.K. Sundar or Girish. They are still awaiting more information. But if in fact the two are found guilty of all of this, there are some serious damning allegations against them, Nolan. Forgery of documents, going ahead and illegally acquiring land, and that too from the royal family of Mysore. And obviously in such a case, the land will be given back to the Vodiyar family, Nolan. We're talking about 50,000 square feet of land, which is worth about 30 crore rupees in today's value. So that's a huge sum of money, and B.K. Sundar clearly using the fact that he is an acquaintance of the Vodiyar family to his advantage, and tried to go ahead and pinch that land out of them. But it looks like that will not be the case, considering that one of the family members discovered this discrepancy and immediately informed their advocate Chandrasekhar, who went ahead and filed a complaint. The Lokayukta, of course, is looking into this. Currently the formalities are on, the investigations are on, and post that we could be looking at some sort of action taken against these two men, and hopefully that land will be returned to the rightful owners, Nolan.
Now 30 crore rupees in Mysore. Imagine if that piece of land was in Bangalore, it would cost more than 100 crores, 150 crores. Now Akshita, do we have any information what these two men were planning to do with that piece of land?
Absolutely none, Nolan, but for all you know, it is at the end of the day a great investment. Something that's 30 crore rupees today could probably double in a couple of years. But more than anything else, it's a fact that it's an ancestral property. It's ancestral land that rightfully belonged to the royal family. And how did these men think that they would get away with a crime like this, considering that they forged late Shrikanta Datta Narasimha Raja Vodiyar's signature and pretended that he had actually signed it 3 days before he passed away. That is how these men tried to fool the people. But the Lokayukta seems to have caught their trick there after they spoke to the late Vodiyar Sayan's wife Pramoda Devi, who went on to confirm that Shrikanta Datta Vodiyar was not present at the race course, which is where B.K. Sundar alleged that Vodiyar had signed that particular paper. So that's where their bluff was called, Nolan. And more than anything else, of course, the question is, how did these men think they would get away with it? Sundar, for example, going ahead and using his connections, he was a family acquaintance, and it was only a matter of time before one of the family members of the royal family realized that such a great misappropriation had been conducted, Nolan.
Now, but considering the fact that you said that they have not been arrested so far, being out over there, won't it be dangerous because they can always destroy evidence?
Well, absolutely none at this point. We do understand that the Lokayukta does have the forged documents in their custody as of now, Nolan. And of course, both Girish as well as BK Sundar are being constantly questioned by the Lokayukta police. But considering, of course, that they do not have enough evidence, they have to investigate this case further, without which they cannot take action. They will have to go ahead and get all the necessary information and investigate this case properly before they go ahead with the arrest. It is a very sensational case at the end of the day, Nolan. We're talking about the royal family here. We're talking about illegally acquiring about 50,000 square feet of land in prime property in Mysore. So, of course, a very grave allegation. So, without the right kind of evidence, without the right kind of proof, the Lokayukta cannot go ahead, considering that these two have not confessed to the crime, and they are stating quite clearly that late Kantadatta Vodiyar did go ahead and sign the document before 3 days before he passed away at Racecourse. The Lokayukta will have to investigate this further, but once again it needs to be highlighted that the Upa Lokayukta, who is heading this case personally, Nolan, has made it very clear that there definitely seems to be some sort of discrepancies. There definitely seems to be some sort of wrongdoing, and it's quite obvious that the Mysore East sub-registrar is involved. In fact, the Upa Lokayukta in his press conference also went on to say that he has spoken personally to Girish, and post that it definitely seems like something is amiss. So maybe in a couple of days we will see the arrest, and that is only hopeful at this point, Nolan. We will have to see if they manage to get enough proof to go ahead and bring them, put them under custody, and more than anything else, of course, ensure that that land is returned to the rightful owners, Nolan.
Right, Akshita, I'm going to place you on hold there for a moment. This is the big news that we are now tracking. Your channel is tracking. Mysore Vodiyar's property illegally acquired by late Sri Kantadatta Narasimha Raja Vodiyar's acquaintance BK Sundar. It is alleged that he forged documents to acquire 30 crore rupees worth land belonging to the late Vodiyar. Now, he was an acquaintance, and we're told that the Mysore East sub-registrar was allegedly involved in this fraud. And this land was registered in his name on December 7, 2013. That is 3 days before the late Vodiyar, or before Vodiyar passed away. In fact, we have information that this came to light when the details, his wife refuted all this by stating that the late Vodiyar was not present on the day when the agreement was signed, that is December 7. Now, that is how the lie was caught.